Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, we're going to cover what went on at D23 Brazil this weekend.
Andor Season 2.
Yes, but that's not where I'm starting.
What? How can you not start with Andor?
They didn't start with Andor, so why should I?
Ooh.
Ooh. So, they talked about the Mandalorian Grogu movie. That was like the first thing, really, that they have to talk about there. They showed some footage. This is supposedly the same footage that was at Anaheim.
That's what I thought I heard.
Mm-hmm. They confirmed once again, reiterating the film is coming out May 22nd, 2026.
I believe
like I said, they should be done filming, so
yeah, it's probably that's still a year and a
it.
half. If you can't finish post-production in a year and a half, that's pretty sad.
They've, for some reason, literally so far only confirmed that Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver are going to be in it, even though we've seen Zeb.
We have seen Zeb.
But StarWars.com did give us a description of the footage. That's how I knew it was the same footage we already saw.
Yeah, I like getting descriptions of footage.
Heaven
forbid they show it.
They said, D23 Brazil attendees saw a sizzle that captured the heart of the adventure so far and gave fans a look at moments from the theatrical release, including Grogu and Din Djarin facing off with snowtroopers, massive Imperial AT-AT walkers in the snow, Zeb Aurelius in action, and Grogu traveling with two tiny Anzellans.
Yeah, that's the same thing we saw before.
Exactly. That footage is exactly the same as that. So, I guess we're not missing anything because it was nothing new.
Yay, boo. Yay. I don't know. A little bit of both on that. I'm sure Celebration will get a teaser trailer that the whole world will get to see.
Yeah, the big anticipation is Celebration
no way.
Tokyo. They'll just give that footage that everyone else has already seen or pirated to everybody. No, we need something new at that point.
They'll give us something new. And a lot of information, too, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll have its own panel and everything.
Okay. Let's move on now to the big Andor news, the exciting Andor news.
A release date.
April 22nd, 2025.
Yep. Overlapping with Daredevil.
It's a very interesting date because, Daredevil's supposed to start up in March, and it's supposed to be like 9 episodes, so either they're running...
Could have multiple episodes, per
for
week,
the
or
beginning,
opening week and
for
last
the end,
week,
But another interesting thing to make note of is this is 2 days after Celebration Japan ends.
Which means they're going to get to see it at Celebration,
they're
because
probably
they
going
do
to get
that
to see
a lot. Yep.
So you really, really, really want to be careful to watch out for spoilers.
Yeah.
And we'll try to remind you of this closer to
I'm
it.
sure it will, yeah.
I mean, we don't even know how many episodes they're planning on premiering that day. When Andor started way back in the day, they gave us an opening of 3 episodes.
Yeah, we kind of got the first little mini arc. So they could do this, especially with having years.
We don't need that anymore.
Well, we don't know what the first episode's going to be like. It could, because they do want to hook people. So
Right.
you're going to put your best foot forward.
Honestly,
because this show should be as good as season 1, which many critics will agree, and many people who didn't maybe initially watch it thought it was pretty exceptional, or who didn't initially watch it too. But you know what I mean. So they probably want to be able to cast quite the spotlight on the first episode or 2 or 3 and get people hooked right away.
It was confirmed at D23 Brazil that season 2 is going to have 12 episodes, and that a year will pass in between each block of 3. So the whole season will take place over 4 years, leading straight into Rogue One as promised.
Yep.
I'm concerned with that because, so we know we're going to be overlapping with Daredevil. We're assuming depending on how many Daredevil episodes they decide to put out at once and whatnot.
Yeah.
Another problem is Ironheart comes out in June.
Well, maybe we could get
So they could overlap on that side too?
Maybe they want to do that because they want you to, if you're watching Daredevil and you like Daredevil and you're like, oh, there's this new Star Wars show that's a little more gritty, a little darker, kinda like Daredevil, if you know what I mean.
Look him up. If you liked Daredevil,
yeah,
watch
you
Andor.
might like this too. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. And we don't know how much of an overlap there will be. It might be 1 week, 2 weeks. We have no idea.
Well, what makes me a little nervous, though, is I don't want them to put out Andor in, each 3-episode section as a chunk at once or something crazy like that. I think it's a horrible idea.
They want that to run as long as possible, keep you subscribed.
Yeah.
They don't want to have 1 month and then you can cancel your subscription. They want you hooked for at least 2.
At least 2.
Yeah, maybe even 3, depending on how many.
It could be 3
if they probably will be if they only do one. It will be if they only do one at a time.
Yeah, they technically, I don't think, have to release 3 episodes at once right off the bat. Why?
I don't think
You've
so
got
unless...
the audience for Andor. We're already hooked. You
Yeah,
don't need
yes
to give
and-
us 3 episodes at once.
Yes and no, because let's be real, the ratings when it initially came out, they weren't exceptional. We've heard a lot of good things after the fact. It seems like a lot of people have watched it after the initial run or initial release. So it's going to be very interesting to see Andor Season 2's ratings. Will there be a huge inflation, or will it be about the same as Season 1, or what? Because that'll tell us how popular Season 1 actually became.
Interestingly, on some of the marketing material they had at D23 Brazil, they actually had changed the title of Andor a little bit. They were calling it Andor with the moniker of a Star Wars story.
Interesting. They're going
Which
back
they
to that.
also gave Rogue One
and
Solo.
Yeah.
Is it because they're trying to make sure they're tying it in properly? Well, I can't forget Disney's debacle with John Carter.
I wonder... Yeah, well, that was just...
Not calling it at least John Carter of Mars.
Yeah. But, I mean, I wonder if they're going to try to kind of distinguish where things are better for the more casual fan. And by calling it a Star Wars story, it's more like... That's a very broad term. This is just a Star Wars story. But if it happens to be in the Mandoverse, will they come up with a moniker for that too?
Or they want you to know it's a Star Wars story, trying to loosely tell you this isn't exactly part of the episodic.
Well, they could also just be like, if you go up to the random person on the street and say, "Have you seen Andor?" They're gonna be like, "What the hell's an Andor?" You know. So
have
if
you seen
put
Andor, a Star
Wars story, yeah, then you know what that is.
It makes it easier for audiences to go, "Oh, this is Star Wars," because it literally says Star Wars,
yeah, I think
not
that's
just
probably
Andor.
Yeah, I think I overthought it there. I think it's just a matter of putting the word Star Wars in there so people can just see the name or hear the name and be like, "Oh, Star Wars."
Like why they called Rogue One a Star Wars story, because casual people may not automatically see Rogue One and realize this is going to connect to Star Wars.
Yeah. People might not know what Andor is, so if we say Star Wars, a Star Wars story, they'll be like, "Oh, that's Star Wars, I'll watch that."
I think that's a good choice.
No, I think that's a great choice.
You're not saying, "Oh, Star Wars episode such and such." No, you're saying Andor, it's a Star Wars story. It's an offshoot of the main game.
Just letting you know what the hell it is.
So I think that's a good decision.
Yeah, I agree with
honestly. I think that's a very good decision. And maybe they've gotten feedback after season 1 and people are like, "What the heck's Andor?"
Yeah.
Disney Plus is recommending Andor. I don't know what that is.
No, it's. I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't know what Andor. I mean, he's not the most popular and beloved character, at least going into the series.
Well, it's not even written like in Star Wars font.
No.
So,
like I said, you go up to the average person on the street and say, "Have you seen Andor?" They're going to be like, "What's Andor?"
What's
and then
Andor?
You're like, "It's Star Wars." Oh, it's Star Wars. That might then pique their curiosity.
Exactly. And the last thing they got to see at the D23 Brazil this year was a new trailer for Skeleton Crew, which I've not heard anything about what footage that entailed or anything at all, honestly.
It's good. Good marketing. Good job,
Great
guys.
marketing.
I always love when they put out these like specialty trailers for the... And I get it. You want to do something special for the people who attend, but at the same time...
It hurts all the people who didn't attend and who just get to sit there and gripe and go, "Why didn't I get to see it too?"
Yeah, most
like,
people
why
aren't
haven't
going
you
to
dropped
Brazil.
it for the rest of us?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a strange strategy.
There was some interesting news regarding Kathleen Kennedy, that apparently she's been making the rounds, doing a lot of press interviews with different outlets lately. I've heard that she's been like talking to Variety and Hollywood Reporter, like doing some press circuits, and no idea what it is. But when those articles come out, we'll find out and we'll tell you.
I would assume if it's anything major, we would have had a leak, right? If she's like announcing her retirement at Celebration, I would imagine somebody. But then again, maybe not.
Maybe not.
You don't want to lose that privilege of being able to.
She could just be doing some regular kind of.
It's probably
stuff.
regular
Who
stuff.
knows? Could just be starting to think about the hype train, getting into Celebration next year with a movie coming in a while.
It could be just kind of talking about, hey, or they didn't announce another trilogy, but one kind of leaked out, and you got Mando and Grogu returning to the theaters in a year and a half. We got a new series coming in, another one in April. Yeah, it could be her kind of reaffirming the status of Lucasfilm and Star Wars right now.
I mean, I did hear with the new trilogy that's coming, with the new writer being brought on and everything, that she was the one who approached him, kind of cementing that she's still here.
It sounds like she's going to be here a while yet.
Yeah.
It sounds like the contract has been renewed. And
Bob Iger, he sees something in her. He saw something in her, and he's got 2 years or something left.
Yeah, he's supposed to be gone in 2026, so...
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, he
but
left
as long
and
as
came
he's
back.
around, maybe she'll be there too.
I hate to play into the conspiracy theories about Kennedy having some kind of dirt on somebody at Disney or Iger himself, and look, I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but you failed to get a movie into the theaters in 6.5 years when Mando and Grogu comes out. The sequel trilogy revenue got cut in half by the end. Most of your shows have been met with downright frustration by a lot of fans. It's not a great resume. Your time at Lucasfilm has been kind of spotty. So it's amazing that it seems she might be back for another 3 years minimum. Because if she's overseeing a whole trilogy, she's back for another 6 to 9 years. If she keeps doing the 3 years at a time.
She may not be overseeing the whole thing. She might have just been the initial spokesman into it. Who knows?
But from the leak we heard is she will be producing alongside Kinberg. So
we'll see.
We'll see. Who the hell knows?
Well, there's also a little announcement. There's not going to be any memes tonight. We had a busy weekend.
Yeah, it was your birthday weekend, so we didn't really have much time to do anything but celebrate with friends and family. But anyway, that is going to be all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any and all of the news coming out of D23 Brazil. And let's talk some Star Wars. And so until next time, thanks for watching.